Hi sir, today our group 20 want to present research title A Study on Social Media Influence on Student Engagement on Academic in Malaysia. Our group 20 have 4 group members.
Hi, my name is Nayobi, metric number A20A1409. Today I would like to present about the extract of this research paper. First is extract. In this research paper, there are a total of 204 respondents were randomly selected to participate in this study, and 24 questions serve as the main data collection tool. Data were analyzed using the Social Science Statistic Package (SPSS). Research results show that social media can influence student engagement in academics. Given the prevalence of social media platforms in the life of young people, concerns have been raised about their potential impact on academic focus and participation. 1.0 Introduction. 1.1 Background. The social media platform has revolutionized the way students communicate, interact, and access information on their academic. Online resources of social media use, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube, have influenced student engagement in academic in Malaysia. Social media is a social networking service built online community where people can share their interests, contribution as a web communication media application. We found that online social network can improve student psychology, well-being, skill development, and learning outcome, and contribute to student participation by validating the developed model against the existing literature. The body of knowledge on the interaction between social media and education in the Malaysia context by identifying the elements that affect student involvement and exploring the impact of social media in altering these characteristics. 1.2 Problem Statement. Issue statement is integration of social media has potential to influence student engagement on academic in Malaysia. Student engagement is an essential principle in the subject of education because it indicates whether a student will make academic process, perform well, and develop. The integration of social media into the daily life between students in Malaysia has the potential to influence their academic engagement in both positive and negative ways. 1.3 Research Question. There are 3 questions of research, which is what is the level of engagement towards social media among students on academic? Second is, did the use of social media affect student academic performance? And the last is, what is the relationship between social media use and student engagement? 1.4 Research Objective. The objective is to ascertain the extent of social media use among university students. Next is to examine the impact of social media use on student involvement and academic achievement. Third is to analyze the factors that influence social media use and engagement among students. And the last is to understand how student involvement is affected by social media platform.
Hi sir, my name is ZHONG. My metric number is A20A1933. I will talk about Chapter 2 Literature Review. Based on our research title, A Study on Social Media Influence on Student Engagement on Academic in Malaysia, there are 1 independent variable and 1 dependent variable. The dependent variable is student engagement on academic, and the independent variable is social media. Based on dependent variable and independent variable, there are a few of keywords that can found. They are student, teachers, parents, marketing, e-learning, engagement, education, social network, university, confidence, motivation, and lastly is academic performance. Based on our dependent variable, which is engagement on academic, we have using 10 article and journal as reference. The article and journal has been written between year 2019 to 2023. First, our article is Student Perception of Academic Engagement and Student-Teaching Relationship in Problem-Based Learning. Second, the academic motivation and engagement of students in English as a foreign language classes. Thus, teacher prize method. Third, student engagement and academic performance of students of Partido State University. Number 4, professor competences, academic engagement and academic certification in university students. Number 5, from discussion forum to e-meetings, integrating high-touch strategy to increase student engagement, academic performance, and retention in large online classes. Number 6 is the role of academic engagement and digital readiness in student achievement in university e-learning environment. Number 7, school engagement as a mediator in student social relationship and academic performance, a survey based on city space. Number 8, self-esteem and academic engagement among adults, a moderate meditation model. Number 9, suitable engagement and academic achievement under impact of academic self-efficiency through mediation of learning ability awareness from music education students. Lastly, the influence of academic self-efficiency on university students' academic performance, the mediating effect on academic engagement. Based on our independent variable, which is social media, we also using 10 article and journal as a reference. The article and journal also written by between 2019 to 2023. First, social media marketing strategy, definition, conceptualization, testimony, validation, and future agenda. Second, impact of social media on academic performance of students. Third, social media and entrepreneurship research, a literature review. Number 4, the future of social media in marketing. Number 5, the academic turns social media in higher education. Number 6, exploring the role of social media in cooperative learning in new domain of learning. Number 7, the effect of social media users on student e-learning acceptance in higher education, a case study from a United Arab Emirates. Number 8, toward a normative social media theory for public relations. Number 9, using social media as a learning media for foreign language students in higher education. Lastly, Facebook is tertiary education. The impact of social media in e-learning. Next is conceptual framework. Based on the diagram, the independent variable, which is social media, has been generate one hypothesis based on dependent variable, which is engagement on academic. Lastly, hypothesis development. Based on conceptual frameworks, they have generate hypothesis analysis. Based on our research title, they have one hypothesis is being generated. That is the use of social media platform positive affect academic engagement.
The next part is research design and method. The purpose of research design for this study is to, through student participation, investigate the impact of social media use on student academic achievement. This study is conducted by quantitative research. The data was gathered through distributing questionnaire by Google Form on social media to the public. The study relied on primary data gathered through distributing questionnaire by Google Form on social media to the public. The sample of this study collected through a random sample of students from Malaysia with different qualifications. We are able to collect a total of 204 respondents through Google Form by distributing it personally. We had used statistical package for the social science SPSS software version 26.0 for this study to compute and analyze the data collected from the questionnaire. Hence, 4 types of analysis are applied in this study, which are reliability analysis, validity analysis, multiple regression, and Pearson correlation. It is to determine the relationship between the engagement on academic for students in Malaysia and the impact of social media.
Good day, sir. So my name is Vicky user U and my matrix number is A20A2059. And now I will enter to the part of the data analysis. Okay, then so we have total 204 respondents and who involved in our survey. And here is the pie chart of the gender and the age group. And the majority of the respondent is female, which have total 158 respondents, and the most of the respondents are between 21 to 22 years old, which have total 178 respondents. Besides that, the most of the respondent is Islam, which gave 102, and is Malay, which have 99 respondents. Okay, so the final demographic is the state of origin, and most of the respondents are from the northern region, which is Perak, Kedah, Penang, and Perlis, with total 83 respondents. Okay, so following that is our statistic table of our IV, which is the impact of the social media. From the table, the SMVS knowledge and the SMVS friend have the largest mean value, which is 4.14, and the SMVS time has the largest standard deviation value, which is 1.082. Following that is the statistic table of our DV, which is the engagement of our student. From the table, the academic achievement vs job has the highest mean value, which is 4.09, and academic vs time management has the highest standard deviation value, which is 1.098. Okay, so next we will enter to the reliability test of our IV and DV, which are the impact of the social media and the engagement of students' academic. And first of all, the reliability statistic, which show us the value of compressed alpha value. The compressed alpha is to measure the reliability or internal consistency. For compressed alpha, it is good to be above 0.8, and it will be the best if the value is 0.9 or above. So for our IV and DV, we have total 0.877 and 0.835 of compressed alpha value, which is considered a good value. So next we will enter to the next table, which is the inter-item correlation matrix. So this table shows us the correlation between each variables and others variables. And this analysis will show how closely scores on one item correspond to scores on all other items on a skew. So value 1 means that the variables that correlate with themselves. So for IV, the highest value of inter-item correlation is 0.625, which are SM vs friend and SM vs knowledge. So beside that, the lowest low value of the inter-item correlation is 0.173, which are the SM vs healthy and SM vs assignment. So for DV, the highest value of inter-item correlation is 0.699, which are the AP vs motivation and self-confidence and academic achievement vs job. So the lowest value of inter-item correlation is 0.039, which is the between the academic vs time and academic vs effort and dedication. Okay, the next table is item total statistic, and for the column corrected item total correlation, and the value should be more than 0.3. Hence, we look up to the whole variables which include IV and also DV. All the variables are greater than 0.3, so there is no issues. And following that is the compressed alpha if item deleted. It represents the compressed value we change to if the variables are removed. And for our IV, the compressed value is 0.x77, and in this situation, only one variable, which is the SMVS healthy, will lead to the increase of our compressed alpha value 0.882 when the variable is deleted. However, we will ignore and not deleted the variable, and this because it only increased slightly and it doesn't affect too much of after remove this variable. And for our DV, it also same as it only have one variable, which is the academic waste time would increase the value if the item deleted, but we will choose to ignore them because it doesn't impact too much after delete. Okay, so the last reliability test is the ANOVA table, and for our IV, the F value is 13.612 with a SIG value of 0.00, suggests that the observed difference among the items are highly significant, which indicates the difference are unlikely to occur by a chance alone. And for our DV, the F value is 32.412 with a SIG value of 0.00, indicating a significant difference. And next is the regression, and this is the model summary of the regression. And at the second column are the R square value. R square value normally is between 0 to 1, so our R square value is 0.531, which indicates that the model predicts 53.1%. And we have 2.045 of the Bin-Watson value, which is a negative correlation and normal. And following that is the ANOVA table, and the F value is 228.985, and the P value associated with this F value, which is very small, which is 0.000. And next is the coefficient table, and the value of the standardized coefficient beta of social media is 0.729, indicating that for every one unit increase in the predictor variable, the dependent variable, which is the engagement on academic, is expected to increase by approximately 0.729 standard deviation. And for the slope of coefficient on the social media, the t statistic is 15.132 and the p-value is 0.00, and it is statistically significant because its p-value is 0.000, which is less than 0.05. And for the intercept, the t statistic is 5.604 and the p-value is 0.00, and it's also statistically significant because the p-value is 0.00, which is also less than 0.05. And the last two columns represent the tolerance and VIF value. Normally, the tolerance is between 0 to 1, and if the value is higher, it denotes the lower the multicollinearity. And the VIF value in the regression analysis is to identify the multicollinearity, and for the table shown, the both of the tolerance and VIF value is 1.000.
The next is correlation. The Bayesian correlation is the most popular method for linear correlation. Based on the table above, the sample size that we got was 204 respondents. The Bayesian correlation coefficient is 0.729 and p is equal to 0.00. It is statistically significant and a large strong positive correlation between influence of social media and engagement on academic. Because it is above 0 and greater than 0.5, the linear correlation coefficient denotes that the greater of influence of social media, the highest the engagement on academic. Okay, the next is factor analysis. A correlation matrix, which is merely a rectangular array of numbers, display the correlation coefficient between one variable and each other variable in the research. In the table above, it shows the value 1.0, means that the correlation coefficient is between the variable and itself. Therefore, the principal diagonal of the table will always be 1.0. The table shows all positive variables, and it means there are all positive correlation with the other variables. The strongest correlation is 0.699, which is between academic achievement vs job and AP vs motivation and self-confidence. Besides that, the weakest correlation is 0.039, which is between academic vs effort and dedication and academic vs time, following by the second weakest correlation, which is 0.076, and it is between AP vs motivation and self-confidence and academic vs time. Next, the table above shows the Kaiser-Meyer-Alkin measure of sampling adequacy (KMO) and ballot test of sphericity. Kaiser has proposed that if KMO value is larger than 0.9, it was amazing. Hence, the value is amazing since our data is 0.91, which is larger than 0.9. It also means that the sum of the analysis is 91.0% and the factor analysis is applicable. Ballot test of sphericity is an indication of strength of the relationship among variables. The approximate chi-square is 2010.515. The significance value P of the ballot test of sphericity is 0.000, and which is less than 0.000. Since the significance is 0.00 and it is less than 0.05, therefore we can reject the null hypothesis since the significance is more enough and it also is not an identified matrix. For the commonalities, which are calculating the variance of each variable which is able to explain the factors, at the first column, the initial value is about square multiple correlation of the variable with the other variables. As the table above shows that all of the square multiples correlation is 1.000. If regress all the variables on one of the variables,
The percentage of each variable's variance that can be explained by the variables is how the extraction is explained. The highest extraction is 77.6%, which is academic achievement vs job, following by 75.3% of variance of variables SM vs healthy. Referring to the variance extraction rules for virtual analysis, the value should be more than 0.5. There is one variable that is less than 0.5, which is time academic vs SM, with only 47.9% of variance. Therefore, these two variables should consider to be removed from the questionnaire due to the value is out of the range, which is smaller than 0.5. The table above is the table of total variance explained. The three components of the table are initial eigenvalue, extraction sum of square loading, and also the rotation sum on square loading total. The selected variable, which is the value of eigenvalue that more than 1, it is a must in order to identify the number of components. The requirement of identifying the number of components that are set by selected variable is the value of eigenvalue of more than 1. The table above shows that there are 4 components in column is larger than 1, which are 7.941, 1.883, 1.332, and 1.107. Plus, starting from component 5 onward, all the components are less than 1, which is not acceptable. The first 4 components have an amount of variance which is more than 1 as the eigenvalue with respect to others eigenvalue which are less than 1. Next is extraction sum of square loading, which are mostly same with the initial eigenvalue columns. It only remains the component that we have the eigenvalue more than 1, which is first 4 components. We can know that the cumulative of 64.544% is the total acceptance. At the last column, the column rotation sum of square loading total shows the total variance after rotation. For the first components, it changed from 7.941 to 6.293. And the second and third component, it changed from 1.883 to 2.782 and 1.332 to 5.762 respectively. Lastly, the fourth component changed from 1.107 to 3.214. The last part for the factor analysis is green plot. It is the plot of eigenvalue based on the order of extraction. This plot is used for determining the factors that are able retained in the final determination. From the green plot above, we are able to see that the first 4 components have the eigenvalue is more than 1 and is considered strong factors.
Instructor and higher education institution assume within how to use social media as a vital learning tool to help students improve their academic performance. So that's all from me. Thank you for listening.
Part is contribution to knowledge. In an effort to shed light on the underlying process and unique thread which influence student interaction with social media platform for academic purpose. The research explains the variables that affect social media use and engagement among students. This is the Gantt chart for our research. The Gantt chart configuration visually represents the schedule and tasks involved in the study on social media influence on student engagement on academic in Malaysia. A Gantt chart serves as a project management tool that helps us plan, schedule, and track the progress of various activities during the research process. As on the chart above, we can note that we start our chapter 1 on week 6 and done all the report on week 12. The last is our questionnaire. We have 24 questions in our research, and this all from our group. Thank you for listening to our presentation.